Hello and welcome to Boomerang, West Lothian's weekly talking newspaper. It's Friday the 26th of September and this evening it's Team 2 who are bringing you the local news from around the county, which is taken from this week's Courier with permission. I'm Rebecca and also reading for us tonight are Jane, Joanne and Sarah. Diana's in charge of the recording and editing tonight, which we all appreciate, so it's a full Team 2 this evening. Well, I hope you're enjoying this fine weather we're having just now, although there are definite signs of autumn. I have to say I do like autumn, especially with sunshine. I don't think there's anything in the post bag, so now we can go on with the news.
Free bus passes may cut the cost of school transport. Pupils could be asked to use public services to get to class, by Stuart Somerville. West Lothian school pupils could be asked to use free bus passes to take public transport to get to class in order to cut costs for the council. Pupils using their free bus passes would mean savings could be made on school transport costs. But studies show that it would be easier to get to school than to get home, and more work needs to be done to develop a sustainable service. Conservative councillor Alison Adamson had questioned why the council paid out more than £1,200 per pupil on school buses when the Scottish Government issued free bus passes. Some authorities, including East Lothian, do not pay for school transport. Sustainable school transport was included in a wider review of bus services in West Lothian. In her report to the Environment and Sustainability PDSP, Nicola Gill, the public transport manager, said, although the results of the analysis demonstrate that public transport links are available for some home-to-school travel journeys, further work is required to review the specific walking routes and infrastructure within each school area. The initial data review shows that on average 70% of pupils across all schools could use public transport for a one-way journey. The report added there are localised differences across the school area where the journey to school may be more accessible than the journey home. Armadale Academy is an example of this. Therefore, the average number of pupils with full accessibility both ways would differ. There are also issues with catchment areas. One of the largest schools, St Kentigern's in Blackburn, accepts pupil placements from across the county, from Fauldhouse to Linlithgow. The LDRS revealed in June that West Lothian Council pays £1,245 per pupil to provide free school transport. Councillor Adamson said at the time, that's not free in anyone's language. Councillor Adamson welcomed the new report. She told this week's meeting of the PDSP the money is something like £1,200 per pupil for school transport. That money is being paid towards a commercial operator to operate services which could make a big difference to a lot of communities as well. So I'm hoping the analysis will reap some kind of benefits and also bring in some savings. The cost to the council for the school transport in the last year was more than £3 million, but the use the bus pass option is not quite the simple answer it might appear. Under the Education Scotland Act 1980, the council has a statutory responsibility to provide school transport for those pupils living over the qualifying distance for home-to-school transport. Section 42(4) of the Act clarifies that the statutory walking distance is 2 miles for any pupil under the age of 8 and 3 miles for any other pupil attending their catchment school. The council can discharge this duty through contracted school transport using council-owned vehicles, utilising the commercial bus network, or even through mileage payments to parents for self-travel. In June, a West Lothian Council spokesperson told the LDRS, although commercial bus routes may exist, they may not provide sufficient connection to meet the council's statutory obligations for school transport. West Lothian Council has a generous home to school policy which provides transport for secondary pupils living 2 or more miles from their catchment school and 1.5 miles for primary pupils.
Next we have On the Beat with Chief Superintendent Greg Banks. And the article is entitled Officers Urge Youth Safety Ahead of Busy Period Over Halloween and Bonfire Night. We have now moved out of summer and into autumn, and while the list of events and celebrations taking place across the Lothians and Scottish borders has reduced, along with schools reopening after the holidays, the busy period for officers across the division continues. Our preparations for Halloween and Bonfire Night started shortly after last year's had taken place, but we will now move at a pace to ensure all the necessary resources are in place to protect the communities of West Lothian and mitigate against serious disorder during this time. The young people within our communities have a vital role to play in helping to keep both Halloween and Bonfire Night safe and enjoyable for everyone who wants to celebrate and participate by making positive and sensible choices when it comes to fireworks. First and foremost, we want them to consider their own safety, but thereafter the safety of others, and how any reckless or criminal behaviour involving fireworks and other pyrotechnics could have devastating and life-changing consequences. I want to make it clear, however, that the overwhelming majority of young people throughout the Lothians and Scottish Borders Division are a credit to themselves, their parents and guardians, and their community as a whole. Neither this division nor Scotland in general has a significant problem with crime, particularly those involving violence and young people. Fewer than 1 in 5 violent crimes involves an accused person under the age of 18, and it's crucial we don't stigmatise this age group, but instead support any youth who is at risk of getting involved in criminal activity and divert them away from these paths. This is not just in terms of fireworks crime, but all manner of offending. We know we can't do this alone, and within West Lothian, we work with key partners on the Supporting Opportunities for Life initiative, shortened to SOL. This is delivered by Police Scotland alongside the local charity Aid and Abet, which helps young people between the ages of 10 and 25 to change their lives and move away from criminal behaviour. Funding for SOL comes from the National Lottery and the Scottish Violence Reduction Unit, and we're extremely grateful for their support. The scheme, based in Livingston, provides an opportunity for young people to work with experienced Police Scotland officers and Aid and Abet peer mentors to help break a cycle of offending or risk of offending, increase confidence and learn how they can make positive life choices, achieve and succeed. Since SOL launched on the 17th of March 2025, 16 young people aged 12 to 22 have participated in the project, and 50% of those who participated have stopped offending across all crime categories. We continue to work with these individuals and the others involved to reduce offending further. We also are looking forward to get more young people involved in the project to ensure more at-risk youths are being supported to make positive and contributions to their communities and move away from the potentially criminal behaviour. And there's a strapline at the bottom that says, young people have a vital role to play in helping to keep both Halloween and Bonfire Night safe and enjoyable for everyone.
Community sending clear message on off-road bikes action. Article by Ross Thompson. Livingston MP Gregor Poynton has called for stronger action against illegal off-road bike use after a major community survey revealed the scale of the problem across West Lothian. The survey findings revealed that over 95% of participants said off-road bikes are a major or significant problem in their area. Residents raised repeated concerns about safety risks to pedestrians, children and older people, bikes tearing through playing fields, residential streets, and even shopping areas. Noise at all hours disrupting sleep and daily life, and antisocial behaviour and intimidation when residents challenge riders. Hotspot areas identified include Livingston Village, Knightsridge, Deadridge, Howden and Craigshill, with additional reports from Fauldhouse, Ladywell, Deans, Almond Vale, Bell's Quarry and Muirston. Mr. Poynton said, "This has been one of the clearest and strongest responses I've ever had from a community survey. People right across West Lothian are telling me the same thing. Illegal and irresponsible off-road bike use is putting safety at risk, damaging property and destroying people's quality of life." The message from residents is also crystal clear. They want tougher enforcement and stronger powers for the police. The survey showed 98% of respondents back stronger police powers, including the ability to seize and permanently remove bikes being used illegally. Mr. Poynton has now written to Scottish Government Justice Secretary and Almond Valley constituency MSP Angela Constance, urging her to give Police Scotland the same powers recently announced for England, where officers may soon be able to permanently dispose of seized vehicles within 48 hours instead of 14 days. The anonymised survey findings are also being shared with Police Scotland, West Lothian Council and local housing providers, so enforcement can be targeted on the worst affected areas. Mr. Poynton added, "If police in England are being given new powers to seize and destroy bikes within 48 hours, people in West Lothian and across Scotland deserve the same protections. Police Scotland should not be left with one hand tied behind their back." I've written to the Scottish Secretary to ask that the Scottish Government urgently considers these measures, and I'm also sharing the findings with our local police and council so that residents can see action on the ground. In response to Mr. Poynton's survey, Community Safety Minister Siobhan Brown said, "Antisocial behaviour is unacceptable and I understand the concerns of residents over the misuse of off-road bikes. Police Scotland and local authorities lead on interventions and have a range of options and powers available for preventing and tackling antisocial behaviour. Some powers, including those over vehicle licensing, are reserved, and we continue to engage with the UK Government to see what more can be done. We keep the law under constant review and are committed to supporting the police to tackle these issues. This year, we are investing a record £1.64 billion for policing, an increase of £90 million on 2024 to 25. And there's a picture of a police van next to a pickup truck, and there's about 12 off-road bikes and even a quad bike that they look to have been impounded.
Food Hub's hard work applauded, and this article is by Stuart Somerville. Volunteers who helped to save a vital village food hub have been praised for helping to bring the community together a year on from fears it was likely to close. It's when you hear from the people who volunteer at Bridgeend's Larder Food Hub that you realise that it is much more than a Thursday night village shop. There's no doubt that it gives villagers access to good food that is fairly priced, but the real bargain are things you cannot put a price on. It's the social contact, talking to someone who'll ask how things are going, who'll ask after the family. As Christine Paxton, one volunteer, put it, "The people coming through the door aren't just customers. They are people I have become friends with. That is invaluable." A year ago, Christine realised the larder, which runs out of the village community centre, was struggling. Funding cuts meant that it could no longer provide varied, consistent food. The larder has re-established an account with Neighbourly Schemes, which supplies donations from Aldi, Sainsbury and Marks and Spencer. However, it did not always have a variety of foods to provide nutritious meals. Without charitable status, the volunteers at the Food Hub came up against barriers to other food sources. Another long-established group in the village, Youth Space, provided the foundation for the larder to set up an account with FareShare, helping it to provide a good range of food and support on a regular basis, and one which includes fresh fruit and vegetables. Paying tribute to the work of the volunteers, Councillor Pauline Orr said, "Just 1 year ago the food hub was struggling. It was in danger of closing until Christine recognised the need to revitalise it. Tina Nicholl and her partner Andy Mackay quickly came on board, and I offered my time to support them. Tina and Andy are now regulars at the larder, both recognising that it is not just the access to fairly priced cupboard essentials and fresh food that the weekly store provides. Tina said, "The larder is important to the community and the people who use it. It's clear to me that people rely on us from week to week. Support can come in many forms, and socialising with our customers and checking in with them is something that is very important to me." Her partner Andy said working at the larder has helped him to establish his home in Bridgend. "I have found volunteering at the larder really rewarding, as it has helped me to settle into the community and make new friends." Another volunteer who has benefited from help offered by volunteers and the food now offers her time to give something back to the village. Lucy Reid said, "The larder has helped me loads and I'm very grateful. This is why I volunteer, to say thank you. I want to help those who are in a similar position to what I found myself in recently." Lucy's joining the volunteer roster was a big help to the volunteering team as an increasingly busy food hub. Councillor Orr told the local democracy reporting service the food hub has stabilised and grown, and it's down to the sheer hard work and determination of the group, and I am incredibly proud of them. Councillor Orr said that the time all 4 volunteers give to the larder each week is staggering, from ordering food on Monday, collecting from suppliers, and filling the shelves and fridges on a Wednesday before opening on the next day. The hub now welcomes around 40 visitors each week, queues often forming before opening. Councillor Orr said it has become a lifeline for many villagers, not just for food but for friendship and connection. It draws people from the neighbouring villages of Phillipston and 3 Mile Town and wider, and offers a friendly point of contact for those feeling otherwise isolated. With exciting new plans on the horizon, the future for the hub looks very bright.
300 Livingston jobs at risk as Sky reveal its restructure plan. Constance calls for talks with Firm. Article by Ross Thompson. Over 300 jobs are at risk at Sky's Livingston site as part of a UK-wide restructure. The company has said that 2,000 call centre jobs are at risk under plans to move more of its customer service online. A total of 309 jobs are under threat, but a Sky spokesman said it was making a multi-million-pound investment in its Livingston site as part of a transformation to deliver quicker, simpler and more digital customer service. As well as upgrading its Livingston site, the company said it would invest in cutting-edge digital technology to make our service seamless, reliable and available 24/7. The Sky spokesman said this is about building a future-ready Sky that continues to put our customers and their needs first. Angela Constance, MSP for Amman Valley, has requested further talks with the company and will also be liaising with local and national agencies to ensure that workers receive the strongest possible support. She said this announcement will cause real worry for staff at Sky's Livingston site and for their families. My immediate concern is for the 309 people now facing the uncertainty of redundancy. Sky has been a major employer in West Lothian for decades, and the skills and commitment of its workforce have been central to its success. I will be seeking urgent discussions with Sky to ensure that every possible step is taken to protect jobs and to support those at risk. While investment in Livingston's future campus is welcome, it cannot come at the expense of hundreds of livelihoods today. I will continue to stand up for local workers and press Sky to honour their duty of care to staff and our community. The media and telecoms giant plans to close 3 of its 10 UK customer service centres. It said on Thursday it cited changing consumer preferences and declining call volumes. The planned cuts, which would see its Stockport, Sheffield and Leeds Central call centres close, which represent 7% of its total workforce and are subject to consultation. As well as closing 3 sites, operations at its Dunfermline and Newcastle sites would also be affected by the plans. Sky says that many customers now want different means of contacting them, including via online chat and emails, and to be able to contact them 24 hours a day.
Disappointment as council rules out bin strap use. This is another article by Stuart Somerville. Clips and straps to secure wheelie bin lids would be impractical and dangerous for collection crews, as well as adding to the time it takes to cover routes, councillors in West Lothian have heard. Other councils said health and safety issues have been identified, and where they were allowed, residents were asked to remove them before putting bins out for collection. Councillor Pauline Orr, who originally tabled a motion asking for a study, told colleagues that she was disappointed. A composite motion was accepted by the council to investigate the use of bin clips to cut down the amount of fly-blown litter on West Lothian streets. A meeting of the Environment and Sustainability PDSP heard from Scott Anderson, the Recycling and Waste Manager. Of the 31 other councils asked for their views on bin straps or clips, 19 responded, and of those, only 2 authorities allowed their use. The 2 councils acknowledged that bin straps were effective in keeping bin lids closed, especially recycling bins if knocked over or blown over. However, in his report, Mr. Anderson said a number of issues and concerns were raised about the use of strap and clip devices to secure bins closed. In the most serious case, a waste collection operative in one council was injured after being caught and dropped by a bin lorry's lifting mechanism after becoming tangled in a cord attached to a household wheelie bin. This resulted in the temporary suspension of bin collections. Other incidents reported concerned straps causing injuries to crew members, catching on to personal protective equipment, their PPE, and other similar near-miss incidents. He added, the majority of respondents to the survey confirmed that they were not considering the use of bin straps clips because of concerns around health and safety. With around 1,500 blue and green bins per route, the extra time needed to open and then replace clips could potentially add 2 hours to cover the route, thus pushing up costs. The council would need to buy and crew 2 extra refuse wagons to cover the existing routes in the current time frame, and that alone would cost over £300,000. Another issue identified is the variety of bins. The report added, only lids with handles can be secured safely enough with straps or clips to stop the bins losing contents, and there will be a large number of bins where the opening is a gap for finger opening. Chairing the committee, Councillor Tom Cons asked, I find it a bit contradictory. The local authorities have responded saying that their policy seems to be they would allow straps or clips as long as they are removed prior to the crews attending. So if the bins are presented at 7 o'clock on a hurricane day, it could be causing the same problem that we are trying to resolve. Mr. Morrison said, you have read that correctly. Local authorities do require the removal of bin clips prior to the service emptying the bins. Councillor Orr told the meeting, "I just wanted to thank the officers for the work that they have done on this, because it really has brought into the public domain the positives and negatives. We have got the examples of why there would be safety concerns with straps. Of course, I'm disappointed in the outcome, but I do recognise that it was a difficult one, and I'd like to say thank you for undertaking the investigation and bringing the results of that to Council today." Councillor Conn said, "I would echo Councillor Orr's comments. The paper does cover issues which might initially not have been thought of." He added that the bin straps could be seen as practical in windy weather, but the costs and health and safety implications had to be taken into account. Introducing systems which would increase the danger to operatives working, I think we have to take that into account.
Council tax worry for households, article by Ross Thompson. West Lothian locals struggling with council tax payments are being urged to seek help, as new figures reveal that nearly 500,000 households receive discounts on their bills. The Council Tax Reduction (CTR) scheme supports people on low incomes, potentially saving them hundreds of pounds a year. In some cases, it can reduce bills by up to 100%. Scottish Government figures published this week show that 458,320 households received a reduction in July, amounting to an estimated £8.2 million in weekly support. Advice Direct Scotland, which runs the free moneyadvice.scot service, is urging people to check their eligibility and make sure they are not missing out. The number of recipients is slightly down on June's figure of 458,380, but remains above the record low of 454,180 in December 2022. Since the scheme launched in 2013, numbers have fallen by 94,000 households, or 17%, from 552,380. Support is available at moneyadvice.scot or on 0808 196 2316. John Baird, Head of Debt Services at Advice Direct Scotland, said, "We know this year's council tax increases have put even more pressure on individuals and families already struggling with rising energy bills and the cost of living crisis. We've seen unprecedented demand for our services, and it's heartbreaking to see people distressed over council tax debt. Demands for payment and threats of enforcement can make money worries even more stressful. That's why it's so important to make sure you're receiving all the financial support you're entitled to. The Council Tax Reduction Scheme is there to help, and we want to make sure everyone eligible knows about it. Our advisors can guide people through the process and check if they qualify. With the right support, people can manage their debts, avoid serious consequences, and work with local authorities to find fair, sustainable solutions. People can get help at moneyadvice.scot or on 0808 196 2316. Council tax arrears are a priority debt, meaning they should be addressed before other debts to avoid harsher enforcement measures such as bank or wage arrestment. Councils can seize benefits and take other actions to recover the owed payments, risking the loss of homes or tenancy agreements if left unresolved. Advice Direct Scotland urges anyone who has missed a payment to contact their council immediately and request to pay in smaller amounts, rather than waiting to be contacted. The charity revealed earlier this year that some households were already facing council tax debts of up to £15,000 before rates rose across the country at the start of April. The CTR scheme takes into account a household's income, savings and personal circumstances, and is open to everyone, including those not receiving benefits. And people can check their eligibility through mygov.scot or by contacting their local council. Entitlement depends on income, savings and other factors, such as whether there are children in the household, if anyone living there has a disability, or if the household receives certain state benefits, including universal credit, income support, income-based job seekers allowance, or income-related employment support allowance. If you live with another adult who is not your partner, you may not receive the same level of CTR, as the other person is expected to contribute to the council tax bill. Even those who do not receive benefits can apply if they are on a low income and have savings below £16,000.
SNP councillors walk out of meeting. The 15-strong SNP opposition group on West Lothian Council walked out of a meeting this week, accusing the Conservative Deputy Provost of shutting down democratic debate. Councillor Peter Heggie used standing orders to rule that the meeting could not debate an SNP motion calling for a rethink on the planned changes to community centres. The changes could see the council take control of most of the community centres, depriving the management committees of their role next year. The party's deputy group leader, Councillor Pauline Stafford, who tabled the motion, told the Local Democracy Reporting Service, LDRS, the SNP is ready to work across the chamber to protect community centres and to keep them sustainable, accessible and locally run. Councillor Heggie said that, as the decisions had been taken and the process was in hand, the motion could not be debated. He added that delaying until after the next meeting of the full council in November would break a timetable set for the end of October when decisions on the future of community centres had to be taken. The Deputy Provost said, standing orders provide that a decision taken by the Council cannot be substantially changed. I am satisfied a significant amount of work has been progressed and that there is work in progress to ensure future scrutiny. He added that more delays would introduce further uncertainties. I am therefore ruling that the motion deals with a matter already being dealt with, and in this case the motion shall not be considered. The Councillor's government manager, Leslie Montague, told Councillor Stafford that the decision of the chair could not be challenged. SNP group leader Janet Campbell told the meeting, the SNP group feels at this point that we have no alternative but to leave this meeting. The motion was deemed competent and a majority of councillors in this chamber support it. After the walkout, Councillor Campbell told the LDRS, the SNP group is disappointed that our motion on the future of West Lothian's community centres has been blocked from debate at full council by the Conservative Deputy Provost. The growing use of the matter in hand rule to exclude opposition motions undermines open and democratic decision making. Overusing this rule to shut down debate is damaging local democracy. Community centres are vital and all councillors should have a say in the decision about their future. She added, since 2023, we have argued that Labour's plans for community centres are unworkable. After local committee rejected all options, the administration imposed a default of full council control, threatening closures, reduced hours, higher costs and the removal of community voices. We're going to take and interrupt the news now to bring you the intimations.
And we have the deaths. Jackson Stroma, peacefully after a short illness at Meadowvale Care Home on Tuesday the 16th of September 2025. Stroma, aged 93 years. Beloved wife of the late James, a much-loved mum, grandma and great-grandma, sadly missed by all, Bathgate.
McCabe Elizabeth Armadale, sadly at home on the 21st of September 2025, Elizabeth née Ferguson, aged 85 years. Beloved wife of the late Bill, a dearly loved mum, gran, sister, sister-in-law and aunt, a good friend to many. For funeral arrangements, please contact Brodie's Funeral Services on 0151 751 214.
Mackay, Roberta or Ruby, Armadale, formerly Blackridge, 9th of the 8th, 1947, died 18th of the 9th, 2025. Peacefully at Peacock Nursing Home, Livingston, on Thursday, 18th September 2025. Ruby, beloved wife of the late Marshall, a much-loved mother of Colin and the late Jimmy. Also a dearly loved gran of Mitchell, sadly missed by all the family. For funeral arrangements, please call Brodie's Funeral Services on 01501 751 214.
And now we return to the news.
Female biker in tragedy. A female motorcyclist was killed in a collision with a car in West Lothian on Friday evening. The crash happened on the A803 near Linlithgow Bridge and involved a Kawasaki EX400 motorbike and a Citroen C1 car. Emergency services attended after the alert was raised at about 8:35 p.m, and the rider of the motorbike, a 23-year-old woman, was pronounced dead at the scene. The 36-year-old male driver of the car was checked at the scene. The road was closed while investigations were carried out. Sergeant Thomas Aitken of Road Policing East said, "Our thoughts are with the family and friends of the woman who died at this difficult time. Our inquiries are ongoing, and I would ask anyone who was in the area at the time to get in touch. Drivers who were in the Linlithgow area at the time shortly before the crash are also asked to check their dashcam footage to see if it has captured anything of significance."
Mum speaks out over swimming incident. A mum has told how a man allegedly grabbed himself inappropriately while watching women and girls at a swimming pool in a West Lothian town. The incident took place around noon on Sunday, September 21st at Excite Whitburn and left pool-goers disgusted and shaken. Cops confirmed they had launched a probe after reports of a man potentially acting suspiciously at the leisure centre. A West Lothian mum who was present at the time with her 13-year-old daughter and her daughter's friend hit out after the shocking incident. She said, "He was spotted by my daughter's friend at the side of the pool, grabbing and rearranging his crotch. The mum claimed he was watching us all and stalking us around the pool area, sauna and showers." She continued, "Staff noticed him coming out of a changing room fully dressed. They were looking for him, but he kept moving cubicles in the changing rooms. He was taken away by staff 40 minutes later, and as he walked past myself and my 13-year-old daughter and her friend, he held his hands up saying, 'So sorry.' A clip from the scene appears to show the man being escorted from a room by staff. He seems to be carrying his jumper and says sorry when he sees he is being filmed." The mum added, "I'm genuinely disgusted by his behaviour. There is so much of this going on around where we stay, and I honestly fear for children these days. It just shows you can never be too careful. The girls are quite shaken up by this, and I am so furious that this happened." A Police Scotland spokesman said, "Around 3:15 on Sunday 21st September, we received a report of a man potentially acting suspiciously at a premises in Whitburn earlier in the day. Inquiries are ongoing to establish the full set of circumstances."
Addiewell officer avoids jail sentence. Relatives reacted angrily after a prison officer whose car struck and killed a dog walker after veering onto a cycle lane avoided jail. There were shouts of "It's a joke and where's the justice?" as Robert Jardine was ordered to do 200 hours of unpaid work and banned from driving for 12 months. Victim William Henderson, 49, was described at the time of his death as one in a million and one of life's good guys. Jardine, 40, admitted causing the death of the much-loved grandfather by careless driving. William suffered catastrophic head and neck injuries when the Citroën C4 hit him on Green Falls Road, Cumbernauld, on May 26th last year. Airdrie Sheriff Court heard Dad of 5 Jardine was driving home after completing his night shift at HMP Addywell in West Lothian when the tragedy happened shortly after 8 a.m. He stopped immediately and went to assist the stricken pedestrian. Jardine told a witness, "He just stepped out in front of me and I couldn't stop." However, police investigators found Jardine's vehicle had veered onto the cycle lane for some unknown reason and struck William, who had his back to the car. William, who was married with 2 grown-up children, was rushed by ambulance to Queen Elizabeth University Hospital in Glasgow, but was pronounced dead at 12:45 that day. Defence counsel Tony Lenihan KC said it was accepted that William was in no way responsible for the collision. Jardine had no previous convictions and a clean licence. Mr Lenihan said he has now lost his job as prison bosses had asked him to resign following his conviction.
Appeal for volunteers to restore a food pantry. An appeal has gone out for volunteers to help restore a West Lothian food pantry service. The Livingston neighbourhood of Ladywell lost its community project, which provided low-cost foods to locals early on last year. Councillor Maria Macaulay praised the past work of the Baptist Church and said others needed to carry the torch. In a report to Livingston South Local Area Committee Regeneration Officer Scott McKillop said, with the cessation of the Community Fridge project in early 2024, Ladywell does not currently have a free discounted food provision project. In terms of developing a new project within Ladywell to supersede this, partners have been consulted, but unfortunately at the moment there is no local community capacity, at present at least, to develop this. In the absence of this, partners have helped to promote uptake of similar services in adjacent communities. This includes the Venny's Food Outlet at Mosswood Community Centre in Knightsbridge and West Lothian Youth Action Project's food project in Craigs Hill. Both report uptake from Ladywell residents, Councillor Macaulay, a councillor for Livingston South Ward, which included Ladywell, said, "Ladywell has always thrived when neighbours look out for each other. I want to thank the Knightsbridge Food Outlet and the Craigs Hill team for the support they've shown our community. The Baptist Church's contribution over many years was greatly valued, and now we need other organisations to carry that torch in Ladywell so that no neighbour is left without." In a report to the neighbouring Livingston North Local Area Committee, the Regeneration Officer said, on average, the Venny had 135 uses of their food outlet, April to June. The Venny continues to deliver regeneration work in Knightsbridge and have further developed their main activities. In 24-25, they received £31,405 worth of funding from the Council's Third Sector Community Support Fund, which was used towards their extensive work with children and young people through their clubs, many of them sports-focused, community garden and food outlet. We're going to take a break now, and the second part of the recording will start soon after that. And now we'll start section 2, which has some main news articles and also some sports news.
Fiona's Leap of Faith to Honour Memory of Dad by Andrea Lambro. 10 years after losing her father, a daredevil mum has plunged 10,000 feet from the skies to honour his memory. Fiona Drummond completed a thrilling skydive challenge at Strathallan in Auchterarder and raised over £1,000 for a cause close to her heart. Following her dad George's motor neuron disease, MND, diagnosis, she has continued to support MND Scotland to help other families affected by this heartbreaking disease. Geordie Gilmore worked as a factory operative in Livingston and retired at the age of 60. Fiona described her late father as a proud, colourful character known for his love of racing pigeons, whisky, and making others laugh. After experiencing symptoms, George underwent various tests and was diagnosed with MND at the age of 69. Mum of two, Fiona, 55, a GP practice manager, said the symptoms were there, but it was always put down to something else. There were things he struggled with, like opening bottles, and he kept falling over. He then started slurring his words, but we thought the painkillers he was taking for a bad shoulder were too strong. It was a lot of different things. George's MND diagnosis progressed significantly. He then lost strength in his legs and arms, added Fiona, and he needed a wheelchair to get around and a hoist to get out of bed. He was eventually unable to hold a cup of coffee on his own and couldn't feed himself. We moved his bed downstairs to make it easier for him, and he needed a wheelchair to get around. Carers visited a few times a day. My dad was very old school and not very technical. He had buttons on his iPad that he could press to let us know what he needed or wanted. His favourite 3 buttons were coffee, food and whisky. Fiona added, to everyone's surprise, he only had 1 hospital admission during his diagnosis, and this was due to a lung infection. It was just a few weeks before he died. We knew that he wanted to be at home. Geordie sadly died 18 months after his MND diagnosis. Fiona's mum Margaret cared for him daily and stayed by his side until the end. He never once complained about his situation, said Fiona. The MND nurses, district nurses and carers were amazing. Every time they visited him at home, he was always grateful and thanked them. Fiona has supported MND Scotland for many years. She took part in 2015's Great Scottish Run in her dad's memory. To support other people affected by MND, she travelled to Edinburgh with her husband John to donate their voices to Speak Unique, a voice banking technology which allows people to communicate in their own voice when natural speech isn't possible. Fiona continued, once my dad lost the ability to communicate, my husband and I decided that we wanted to help other families by donating our voices. It's a process which takes a couple of hours to complete. It didn't make sense at the time, as you think you're reading something that flows, but you're reading all different words and phrases to capture the different sounds, vowels and expressions in your voice. Fiona and her father also donated blood before he died to help with MND research. They explained that they would be looking for a specific type of gene and comparing my blood to someone who had MND to look at the differences, she explained. MND is a rapidly progressing terminal neurological illness which stops signals from the brain reaching the muscles. This causes muscle weakness and wasting. MND can rob someone of the ability to walk, talk, swallow and breathe. The average life expectancy of someone with MND is just 18 months from diagnosis. There is no cure or meaningful treatments. MND Scotland is the only charity in Scotland dedicated to directly supporting people with MND, their families and friends. Fiona decided to take her fundraising efforts to extreme new heights in support of the charity. Skydiving has always been on my bucket list, she said. You watch people doing it on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, and I thought I would love to do that. One night, after a few drinks, my husband called my bluff and put his bank card on the table. The next day I booked it. A spokesperson for MND Scotland said, "We would like to thank Fiona for taking part in this incredible challenge and helping to raise vital funds and awareness for MND. You can support Fiona and her fundraising efforts via her fundraising page, which is www.justgiving.com, and if you look for Fiona-Drummond-4, and there's a picture of Fiona which looks like they have just completed their parachute jump, and she has an instructor beside her, and he's holding a big yellow parachute, and she has got colourful, it's like fancy hair. It's almost like Rastafarian hair, but in multicolours, which she must have wore for the jump. And she's got another nice picture of Fiona standing, holding a certificate from MND for raising the money. And she has a white MND Scotland t-shirt on. And there's a lovely picture of her dad when he was younger, smiling and holding a tray with his favourite whisky on it.
New Butchers officially opens. An article by Michael Pringle. A new butcher's shop has officially opened in East Calder. The ribbon was cut on the Dewar Family Butcher's store at J&R Veitch Garden Centre by Livingston MP Gregor Poynton. The MP used the opportunity to call on developers to live up to promises of delivering more facilities for the community. The opening ceremony alongside owner David Dewar was attended by a large crowd of local residents, with the shop quickly bustling with customers eager to support the new venture. Davy is currently recruiting staff for the new shop and has also been in discussion about how the wider site at J&R Veitch Garden Centre could be developed into a community hub, with improved green space and facilities to serve both East Calder and Calderwood. Gregor Poynton MP said, "It was a real pleasure to join Davy and his family to open this fantastic new store. Small and family businesses like Dewar's are the centre of the Livingston and West Lothian's local economy, creating jobs, supporting skills and giving people real pride in where they live. It was brilliant to see such a strong turnout from local people today, showing that East Calder and Calderwood will give this business every chance to thrive. With the right support, ventures like this can help build vibrant community spaces that really bring people together." He added, "We need developers to live up to their promises in Calderwood. They have to deliver the community facilities that local people were told to expect. In the meantime, it's businesses like Dewar's that are showing real ambition and helping to knit communities together. And I live in Bathgate, and West Orange are still waiting for their community facilities, and it'll be interesting to see what happens in the new Bangor village, if they get any facilities."
Sigh of relief as Mental Health Fund extended. Article by Stuart Somerville. West Lothian's Life-Saving Community Mental Health Fund has been extended to cover 2-year projects. Third sector organisers hope the extension will enable the funding reach more people through different grassroots projects. The flexibility of multi-year funding allows newer projects time to bed down their work within West Lothian communities. Councillor Sally Pattle branded the move a positive step forward. Years 5 and 6 of the Scottish Government's Communities Mental Health and Wellbeing Fund launched at the start of this month. In a report to the Economy, Community Empowerment and Wealth Building PDSP, Alan McCluskey, the CEO of the Voluntary Sector Gateway, said, "For the first time, the opportunity to grant funding across 2 years has arisen as part of the Scottish Government's Fairer Funding pilot, part of their commitment to deliver fairer funding for the third sector. The pilot has been set up to provide more certainty and allow for longer-term planning, aiming to improve stability and cost efficiency for organisations and services. Around 80% of funding will be reserved for 2-year projects to ensure the benefits of the pilot are passed on and so that the impact of the pilot can be properly evaluated nationally. The VSG has £465,000 for activity in 2026 to 27. Of that, £93,000 will be available for 1-year only projects and £372,000 will be available for 2-year projects. The fund was introduced at the height of the COVID pandemic and has so far delivered £2 million to local volunteers who promote better mental health within communities. Up to 150 grassroots organisations have been supported to help those most in need, and each year West Lothian's share of the national pot could have been spent 3 times over given the number of applications. Some difficult decisions have to be taken. Community groups have until Monday, October 6th to submit bids for funding. The Gateway continues to put on events and highlight funding opportunities to the sector. It hosted a free training session into writing successful funding applications in August for sector to aid potential applicants for this and other funds. Councillor Pattle told the meeting, "I want to say how pleased I am that the community's mental health and wellbeing fund has been opened up for multi-year funding, and there's also the flexibility to award a mix of both 1 and 2 year projects, depending on what suits each project. I think that really marks a positive step forward in the way that these things are being administered, so I'm pleased to hear that it is going well." Mr McCluskey earlier told the Local Democracy Reporting Service this funding saves lives. He added, "Over the past 4 years, £2 million from the Scottish Government's Communities Mental Health and Wellbeing Fund has been provided to 150 small grassroots organisations to support their initiatives. Funding helps organisations with costs such as staffing, equipment, venue hire, training and volunteer expenses. Projects have tackled social isolation, loneliness, mental health inequalities and supported those most affected by the pandemic. This includes projects supporting a range of at-risk groups, including women, particularly those experiencing gender-based violence, people with a long-term health condition or disability, and those from a minority ethnic background. West Calder and Harburns Community Development Trust is one of the organisations which has benefited. Good Connections supports people in the West Calder and Polbeth areas to access activities, services and opportunities that improve their lives. Adele Prendergast, the manager of Polbeth's Community Hub, said 86% of people who accessed our project over the last 2 years have seen a meaningful improvement in their mental well-being, and 100% of our regular group attendees said that the activities had a positive effect on their mental health. They also said they would recommend others to join our groups. This is the impact funding like this has.
Iconic footwear brand opens at Livy Outlet, and this article is by Ross Thompson. Footwear brand Clarks has announced the opening of its newly relocated store at Livingston Designer Outlet. The launch coincided with Clarks' 200-year anniversary celebrations, marking 2 centuries of innovation, craftsmanship and enduring style. Throughout the year, the branch has honoured this milestone with a series of exciting initiatives, from a documentary series to a programme of new store openings worldwide. The new store, located opposite the original store at Livingston Designer Outlet, will showcase an extensive collection of men's, women's and children's footwear. To celebrate the exciting reopenings, shoppers are invited to enjoy a limited edition tote bag with any purchase. With 200 tote bags up for grabs, they make for the perfect companion to carry around your new Clarks finds. The new Clarks store offers its most elevated shopping experience to date, featuring newly developed fixtures and fittings, a spacious interior, bold pricing displays and a bright campaign imagery, all designed to create a welcoming environment where customers can explore and discover the products they love with comfort and ease. Michelle Whitelaw, Centre Director at Livingston Designer Outlet, said, "We are delighted to announce the reopening of Clarks at Livingston Designer Outlet. As a family-focused brand and a firm favourite among our visitors, Clarks' decision to reinvest in this location is a strong indicator of continued success. We are seeing a growing trend of established brands choosing to refurbish and reinvigorate their presence here, and Clarks is the latest to unveil a newly refreshed store. The updated space is bright, modern and welcoming and set to further enhance the shopping experience for our customers. The Clark store will be open Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday and Saturday from 9 till 6 and Thursday from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. and Sunday from 10 to 6.
Jobs Below as Beauty Store Set to Close for Good by Chloe Goodall. A West Lothian beauty retail shop is set to shut up shop for good after the company fell into administration. Body Care, located in the centre Livingston, will be one of the brand's last shops to close after the company collapsed into administration earlier this month and was unable to secure a buyer for its chain of stores in the UK. Administrators at advisory firm Interpath said this meant it had made the difficult decision to close them down. Body Care was founded in 1970 in Lancashire and sold beauty products, fragrances and other bathroom items. Its stores were based in shopping centres and high streets in towns and cities across the UK. The final round of closures is expected to happen by Saturday and will result in all 444 employees working across the shops being made redundant. It means about 150 shops will have been shut since it went into administration, including branches in Edinburgh and Cameron Toll, with more than 1,000 staff losing their jobs across the UK. Nick Holloway, Managing Director at Interpath and Joint Administrator, said, "We understand this has been a difficult period and so we want to further express our sincere thanks to Body Care staff who since day one of the administration have maintained the strong standards of presentation and customer service that Body Care was renowned for. We will contribute to explore options for the company's assets, including the Body Care brand, and will provide further updates in due course." Body Care appointed Interpath on September the 5th, saying it had come under pressure from rising costs and a shortfall in funding, which also affected supplier relationships and led to stock shortages.
The Lithgow Academy Travel Hub. Travel Hub is established for pupils, an article by Michael Pringle. The Lithgow Academy is home to a newly established active travel school hub, the first in West Lothian. Pupils and staff at the school will be joined by a new schools officer, Joe Clare, who will be on site 3 days per week to deliver activities and training to enable everyone to move around actively in their day-to-day lives and journeys. Activities will encourage people-powered journeys, including walking, wheeling and cycling, to promote the joy of movement, increased confidence, health independence and engagement with the local area. The opening of the hub is a result of a partnership between Move for Good and FEL. This is FEL's 9th school hub and it's first delivered in the partnership. Move for Good is the Lithgow Community Development Trust Active Travel Project. School-based active travel hubs deliver clear long-term benefits for pupils, schools and communities. These hubs have demonstrated impact by creating safe, supportive spaces for cycling, walking and wheeling, and they help pupils build everyday confidence in travelling independently. Schools have reported a noticeable uplift in active travel take-up, with more children choosing to walk, cycle or scoot to school rather than relying on car journeys. Beyond the environmental benefits, this shift is supporting pupils' health and well-being, strengthening school communities and embedding sustainable habits that can last for a lifetime. The school hub builds on Move for Good's existing active travel programme in Lithgow, where Joe will also work delivering events and activities in the community and with local primary schools. Joe Clare, Active Travel Schools Officer, said, "I'm a passionate advocate for the benefits to active travel that they can bring the whole community and have seen firsthand how this has been achieved in our other school hubs. I will be using my experience of working with children and young people so that everyone in the town can get the most out of this project. Supported with funding from SEST, Ran the School Hub in Linlithgow will build on FEL's successful development of 8 other school hubs in Stirling, Falkirk and Clackmannanshire. Initially funded as a 1-year development project through to June 2026, delivery is planned for the next 3 years to support sustained growth of active travel in the school and wider community. Our vision is to continue the partnership between Move for Good and FEL so that in Year 3 Move for Good will become the lead and sole partner with Linlithgow Academy, ensuring that local skills and capacity are developed to continue this important work. Grant Abbott, head teacher at Linlithgow Academy, said, Linlithgow Academy is delighted to partner with LCDT and FEL, bringing the first active travel school hub partnership to West Lothian. This is an exciting and new opportunity for our young people to cycle, scoot and wheel as part of everyday life. Pupils will be able to take part in events and activities such as our Cycling Ambassadors group, earn SQA qualifications in cycle maintenance and borrow bikes through our Bike Buddies scheme. We believe this partnership is about more than bikes. It's about healthy habits, life skills and connecting our young people to their community. Luke Collins, Move for Good project manager at LCDT, said partnering with FEL is an exceptional opportunity for LCDT to grow our active travel project and to establish a trusted model in Linlithgow to encourage and support the pupils and the schools and our wider community to join our journey, moving and travelling actively in our daily lives. Jodie Murdoch, FEL Scotland Project Coordinator, said, "We're delighted to launch this new school active hub in Linlithgow, which marks an exciting step forward in supporting young people to travel more actively and confidently. Working in partnership with Linlithgow Community Development Trust means we can create opportunities that go beyond the school gates, helping pupils, families and the wider community to embrace walking, cycling and wheeling as part of everyday life. This collaboration really shows the power of local partnerships in building healthier, more sustainable futures for our children." And there's some fabulous pictures on a beautiful sunny day of the types of active travel vehicles. There's scooters, there's bikes, and there's even skateboards. And every one of the pupils is wearing the proper safety helmet. But I don't see Mr. Abbott, the head teacher, out on his bike in this photo.
Hugo's Hero Awards. Vets honour dogs who went the extra mile. Article by Ross Thompson. And this is part of a double-page spread with a lot of photographs. A Linlithgow Vets group paid tribute to animals who go above and beyond for their owners. The Hugo's Hero Awards by Westport Veterinary Clinic was held at Lothian Dog Services Training Centre in Linlithgow. Hugo's Hero Award is a special annual award which recognises and celebrates animals and their acts of kindness to humans. The award was created in memory of local Labrador Hugo, who was recognised as a hero in 2021. His sheer devotion for his owner meant he never left his side when his owner had an accident. Hugo's loyalty saved his owner's life. Westport Vets continue to share Hugo's legacy, shining a light on other animal heroes in his memory with Hugo's Hero Award. Nominations were open to the public across the UK earlier this year. The winners of Hugo's Hero Award and Hugo's Special Recognition Award are chosen by Hugo's family. Westport Veterinary Clinic owner and senior veterinary surgeon Stuart McMorrow gave a presentation about Hugo and all Hugo's heroes before announcing this year's winners. Hugo's Hero Award 2025 winner was Brodie, and Hugo's Special Recognition Award 2025, the winner was Millie. The guests enjoyed a video about each of this year's winning heroes, which shared their stories as told by their owners. Brodie and Millie's owners were each presented with a personalised Hugo's Hero Glass Award, a certificate, rosette, and a gift from Westport Vets. Brodie got a deluxe Waggy bag of dog goodies, and Millie's owner was presented a canvas of Millie made up of her owner's favourite photos of her. Each winner was also presented with a gift from last year's Hugo Hero winner, Buddy. Hugo's Hero Award 2025 winner is Brodie for his compassion and devotion to his family and for the positive impact he has in their lives. Brodie is being recognised for the positive impact he has on his owner, Lauren McMurray. He is her strength, her courage, and her best friend. Lauren said, "He's my soul dog and my own wee therapy dog. In Brodie, I truly have got the best friend and best wee dog I could ever have dreamed of. For the last 5 years, he has shown so much love, support, and compassion to me and my family. Every day he makes me laugh with his cheeky wee personality. I truly can't express enough how much Brodie means to not just me, but my close family. I couldn't have wished for a better wee dog. Not all superheroes wear capes, and he is definitely my wee superhero. He has helped me through so many difficult times, and I'm proud to have him by my side." Brodie is a 5-year-old Cavachon from South Queensferry. Lauren got Brodie when he was 8 weeks old, and he has been with her ever since. He has helped her cope with being diagnosed with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, a connective tissue disorder that, amongst many other things, causes joint dislocations and chronic pain. Brodie has become her therapy dog and is always there for comfort, cuddles, and to lick any tears away. He has also provided the same support with Lauren's mum, who has recently been diagnosed with epilepsy. Whilst walking Brodie one day, she had a tonic-clonic seizure. Brodie never left her side. He kept her safe and comforted and continues to fulfil the role of therapy dog for her too. Hugo's Special Recognition Award 2025 winner is Millie for her devotion, loyalty and love for her owner Bethany. Bethany Gunn from East Calder met her soul dog Millie on her 11th birthday. From that first moment, Millie was her companion through everything. She supported Bethany, now 28, through 4 different schools, moving 3,000 miles away to start all over together, going to university and meeting her now husband, Adam. She was there on their wedding day, and she was there when they had their baby. Sadly, Millie crossed the Rainbow Bridge just a couple of weeks before their son's first birthday. Millie's owner, Bethany Gunn, said, "Millie's whole life was an act of kindness. She got me through every single hard day I had. I truly believe I wouldn't be here without her and her unconditional love for me. She was the one who got me through my hardest days, and I believe she stayed with me as long as she did, until she knew I was in safe hands, settled and happy with my husband and our little boy. We were best friends for 17 years, and every single day of that, she showed me true love and kindness when humans didn't. She really is so deserving of this award. She is my heart and soul dog, and she always will be my hero." A Westport Veterinary Clinic spokesperson said, "We would like to pass our heartfelt thanks to Lauren and Bethany for sharing their amazing hero stories with us, to the Watson family for their continued support with this award, and to Claire Staines for kindly allowing us the use of the Lothian Dog Services to host the event. Hugo's Hero Award is such a special event where amazing animals are celebrated, and we continue to celebrate all of Hugo's heroes, past and present, each year. Congratulations to both of this year's Hugo's Hero Award winners. Much well-deserved recognition for Brodie and Millie. Brodie continues to be a hero every day, and Millie will be remembered as a hero forever." You can read about all of Hugo's heroes on Hugo's Hero Hall of Fame on Westport Veterinary Clinic's website. And there's pictures of all the winners with their supporters, and then the individual winners. The one, Bethany and her husband, with a montage of photos with their dog, Millie, and the other girl, whose name I can't remember, Lauren, with her dog as well.
And here's another little dog story for you. Give a dog a new life. Super Cooper is a little ball of energy and fun, and this is by a staff reporter. Cooper, a 3-year-old miniature dachshund, is a little ball of energy and excitement. Full of beans and always ready for his next adventure, Cooper loves long walks where he can sniff and explore every nook and cranny. Whether it's splashing in a stream or running along the beach, he's always game for a fun day out. After a day of adventure, Cooper is happiest snuggled up on the sofa with his closest friends. Although full of life, Cooper does have a nervous side and can be a little worried when meeting new people. He's a bit shy initially and will need a few meetings before he feels comfortable enough to pack his bags and head to his forever home. Once he's settled, he'll be the most loyal little friend. Cooper is looking for a home where he can be the only pet, and ideally he'll do best with older children who understand his need for a little space. However, his story doesn't end there. Cooper has some health concerns that will require extra care and attention. His kidneys aren't functioning normally, and he'll need a loving home that can accommodate his medical needs and provide him with proper care. To find out more about Cooper and all the dogs patiently waiting to be adopted at the Dogs Trust West Calder, visit www.dogstrust.org.uk West Calder. And I can tell you, he's absolutely gorgeous. A little tan and brown dachshund, and they've got lovely velvety ears. I can't have him because I have a cat.
Female golf sessions hailed. Article by Ross Thompson. Winsborough Nidre Castle Golf Club has more than doubled its female membership in the past 3 years, thanks to 2 initiatives aimed at encouraging women and girls to try the sport. Their club's female membership now stands at 24%, which is double the national average for women's membership in a Scottish golf club. Scottish Golf has said that the club offers a blueprint for other golf clubs to follow in building popularity of the sport among women and girls. The club's increase in female membership is largely due to the club's entry-level coaching courses called Get Confident in the Basics for Women. There has now been 8 editions of the course, with more than half of all participants continuing to play the game and apply for club membership, with the historic club's female membership having risen from 22 to 49 since 2022. However, it's not just the adult membership that has grown. There has been a recent influx of girls, courtesy of the club's adoption of Scottish Golf Girls Golf Club Hub. 16 new girls came on board in May when John Pritchard, the club's head coach, initiated a scheme to offer coaching to girls aged 7 to 16 in and around Scotland's fastest growing community. Now, beyond this initial 6-week hub stage, 13 girls are members and continue to benefit from coaching under the Golf Foundation Girls Golf Scholarship. John runs the sessions with fellow coach Willie White. PGA professional Heather McRae has been brought in to assist with sessions. This is our club's first venture into an initiative like this, and we have worked closely with the Scottish Golf and Active Schools in West Lothian to make it happen, said John, also the club's community golf coach. Initially, we had 36 emails from people showing interest, then eventually settled on 16 girls attending regular coaching sessions. The success of the hub, along with the adult sessions, show women and girls golf is thriving. Golf seems to be viewed by many as a male sport, but our female members, especially the girls on the programme, have shown that there's so much to be gained from the sport, regardless of background and age of the player. I think what Scottish Golf are doing is fantastic, showing that golf can be enjoyed by everyone and reducing the preconceptions around who can play. We took the girls to Troon to both play in a sixes tournament and to attend the Women's Scottish Open at Dundonald. This gave them the opportunity to watch the professionals on the range and to chat and collect a few autographs. Among those who took time to talk to the girls was Lottie Wode, who went on to win the tournament. It's an experience that will stay with many of them and hopefully encourage them to play golf into adulthood. Ava, one of 4 15-year-olds on the programme from Winchborough Academy, plays golf twice a week. She said, "It's really rewarding and it's nice to get out into the fresh air. It's a nice environment and John is really welcoming. I've made a few friends and look forward to going out to play with them every week." Isla, aged 9, said, "I do kickboxing 3 times a week, but this is way calmer. I wouldn't have thought about playing golf before this programme, but now I really enjoy it." Ivy, also 9, has added golf to a list of sporting interests that include martial arts, swimming and dry slope skiing, and said, "My dad plays golf, so we've been to the driving range a few times, so I know a little bit about golf, but the lessons have been really fun. The women and girls coaching sessions are just some of the many run by John, Willie and their team of coaches at Winchborough Nidri Castle Golf Club on a weekly basis. The work of the club has been praised by the Scottish Golf. Chris Lumsden, Regional Development Manager for the East Region, said Winchborough Nidri Castle Golf Club have seen above average growth in their women's and girls' membership, mostly through the valiant efforts of their club volunteers, John and Willie. Their commitment to growing female participation has led them to connections with the local community, schools and parents, and their engagement with new golfers and participants has been exemplary. We have captured their model as a blueprint to showcase to other clubs around Scotland who may want to emulate their work. Scottish Golf continues to support Winchborough Nidri Castle in all its efforts to develop club membership in this inclusive way, but the credit for their success lies squarely with the team at the club. Winchborough Development Limited, WDL, who leased the course to the club, have supported the junior golf programme for many years. Penny Lockhead, WDL's Community Sport and Green Space Manager, said of the new Girls Hub initiative, "It's inspiring to see so many women and girls enjoying golf at the club and underlining their ethos and commitment to golf for all, demonstrating they are at the forefront of driving women and girls golf across Scotland." The club also became a charity, underlining their community club ethos. "We are delighted to support all they deliver for the community." And there's some nice pictures of the girls outside wearing pale blue 3-button and a collar golf t-shirts, and they've got white caps on, and they've all got their golf clubs, and they are outside with the people who are teaching them. And it's nice to see some of the younger kids along with the older kids, and everybody's smiling, and it's a lovely sunny day and they look like they're enjoying themselves.
Bathgate Banking Hub latest. Linlithgow MSP Fiona Hislop is highlighting the progress of the new banking hub in Bathgate, due to officially open its new premises in Morrison's car park later this year. The current temporary location of the banking hub, which has been funded by Cash Access UK, is at the Jim Walker Partnership Centre. This in addition to a new external bank machine at Day to Day on Mid Street in Bathgate, also funded by Cash Access UK. Fiona said, "While I'm concerned at the limited availability of certain bank companies, I'm pleased that members of the community will still have face-to-face in-person services at the community banking hub, which older and more vulnerable people in particular completely rely on. I am concerned, though, that the Morrison's hub is relatively out of town for people and that the hub has not been sited more centrally. The Bathgate hub will be used by Santander on Monday, RBS on Tuesday, Bank of Scotland on Wednesday, TSB on Thursday and Barclays on Friday."
Generosity of shoppers. Aldi stores in Edinburgh and the Lothians donated over 43,000 meals to families in need throughout the recent summer holidays. All Edinburgh and Lothian stores aided local charities and food banks during the period of increased demand by redistributing surplus food through community giving platform Neighbourly. The UK's fourth largest supermarket has worked with Neighbourly since 2019 and has already donated more than 8.8 million meals so far this year to those in need nationwide. Luke Emery, National Sustainability Director at Aldi UK, said, "We are proud to continue supporting incredible causes across the country this summer, helping to provide fresh, wholesome food to those who need it most. School holidays can be a challenging time for many people, many families, and this summer we're continuing our efforts to provide support where we can through our partnership with Neighbourly." Steve Butterworth, CEO of Neighbourly, added, "Summer holidays represent one of the busiest times of the year for charities and food banks, and this year was no different. Aldi's generous donations played a key role in helping support families, and our partnership continues to make a meaningful difference to those who need it most."
Davy, AI may replace refs, and this article is by Paul Thompson. Livingston boss David Martindale reckons artificial intelligence, AI, could replace referees in the future as he criticised the current technology being used in the game. Video Assistant Referee, VAR, has been controversial since the day they came into use a few years ago, and problems persist with how some incidents are being interpreted by officials. Earlier this month, the Scottish Premiership threw up its latest controversies when Lawrence Shankland appeared to use a hand in the build-up to Hearts opener in their defeat of Rangers, while Celtic were awarded a last-gasp penalty in their 2-1 win at Kilmarnock after a VAR review for an unintentional handball from Lewis Mayo when the ball deflected onto his hand was penalised. These are just a couple of many, as clubs continue to pay increasing sums each season to have the technology in the top flight. VAR is optional in the earlier rounds of cup competitions, but mandatory in the Premiership. And Martindale predicts AI could soon be making the big decision in the top flight instead of the likes of Whistler's John Beaton and Nick Walsh. He told the BBC, "One of my biggest concerns originally when we voted for this VAR and was a big advocate of it, I felt that it would have helped the game. But how much was it going to cost? And secondly, how much is that cost going to go up every year? The costs keep going up and up. But to make the game better, we need to spend more money because we need to bring more technology in. Where does it end? Do you end with no officials on the park and it's artificial intelligence that's refereeing the game? Because that's when it's going to do to us. Not robots, just artificial intelligence. Cameras videoing the game. Cameras making the decisions. You look at the AI. There's data and it says by 2030 the evolution of AI is going to be very much more powerful than the human race. Not just a human, the full global human race." Martindale has previously spoken of his relief at no VAR in the Championship last season, but now the Lions are back in the top flight. He is frustrated by the impact it has had, not just on players and teams, but also the fan experience. He added, "I'm not sure VAR is helping the game now. You're using the footage, but it's the personnel that's then interpreting the footage, so that's a big problem for me. I think I'm in a great position to speak about this because I was VAR previously, no VAR, and then VAR again. What was the first goal this season? Falkirk. We score, and I'm running away. I'm up to the touchline, celebrating, and I'm like, you might not even get this goal. That elation, the drop-off, it's terrible. By the time you're given the goal, can you lose that moment? That is not what football is all about." And well, that's us at the end of this week's recording. So when you've finished listening to it, please put the memory stick back into the folder and return it to us as soon as you can. Please remember to turn over the address label, leaving the cut-off corner at the top right-hand side. And with that, it's goodbye from me, Rebecca.
Goodbye from me, Joanne.
Goodbye from Jane.
And goodbye from Sarah.
Goodbye.